And now your job is to launch your own Spark shell in yarn mode with your own configuration, right? Which means you have to do a PySpark 2, then do a -- help. Type a -- help and hit enter. Now this is before launching what I want to do. So we are building our launch script, right? So when you want to launch, you have to definitely say what? PySpark 2, right? Now you want to launch in the cluster mode. So what you say? You say master yarn, right? And now you can give conditions. What are the conditions? So from here you can copy paste. What are the things you want to mention? Let's see, scroll down. Let's say driver memory we want to mention. So I'll just copy this. Okay. Driver memory, I want 1G. Okay, 1 GB. Driver class path, executor memory we want. I'll copy executor memory. Executor memory again I want 1G. Default is 1G, but we are still saying it. Okay. Or let's keep it as 1500 or reduce it probably. Let's say 500 M. 100 M. Okay. Because all of you are launching, right? Cluster will be busy. So executor memory that much. Then driver cores I don't want to mention. Let it automatically take. Executor core I want. So for the executors, I want 2 cores probably. Executor cores 2. Okay. And number of executors I want. Here is number of executors. I want 3. So you can build your script. I mean, we will not run it. First, let you build it, then we will run it together. So I'm saying that, hey Spark, launch in the yarn. You will have a driver and executor. We know. For driver, I need 1 GB memory. I need 3 executors. Each should have 500 megabyte of memory, and executor core is what? 2. You can kill it. Or if you're already in the shell, say exit and open close brackets. It will exit from the shell. All of you can exit. I think it might be resources. In that case, if I run, let's see if it is running. So all of you can exit. I'll just try if I am getting it. Okay. So it is not allowing to mention the argument. I think the reason might be that all of us are requesting resources. So it is denying. So we have only 8 machines, right? 7 machines actually as worker nodes. But what is the configuration we get if you launch by default? sc._conf.get all. So this is the default configuration, right? That we get if you simply launch saying master is yarn. How many executors you have? Can you see here? So you mentioned number of executors 2. You got 2 executors right now. You can also mention the RAM and processor core. I think because all of us are launching, yarn is denying the resources for us. Yesterday, if you remember, I showed you, right, that we launched and saw that these many executors it is asked. So right now I just started with 2 executors. Number of executors is 2. Okay. This is just to show you that we can launch in the yarn mode. Let's do one thing. Let's start in local mode only, because if all of us are loading the data and analyzing, probably resources also will go less in that case. So you can simply say PySpark 2. Okay. And then you can say master local, master local, and I'll just use 2 processor cores probably. And start the shell along with me. I want to show you something. Okay. You can say 2 or 3, doesn't matter. Okay. Keep it 2 if you want. So we are on the same page. And let me know whether all of you have started the shell in local mode. So what I want you to do is that we will create the same RDD with different partitions. So I have 2 processor cores only right now. And if I say parallelize and create the RDD, you know that 2 partitions will be there, right? So I'll just create the RDD and I will simply say a.collect. Okay. So when I do a.collect, I will get the output. Now what I will do, I will create it with let's say 10 partitions. Okay, I say 10 partition, and then I will again say a.collect. So very simple, you create the RDD and then you're just calling a collect. Again you're creating it, you say 10, I want 10 partition. Again you're doing a collect, you're not doing anything else, right? And now what I want you to do is exit from the shell. Okay, so once you're done this much, do what? Exit. Now you are out of the shell. Why I want to do it is the Spark UI, right? So I'm not able to access it when Spark is running. If you exit, you can see the UI. It will go to history server. And in the notepad, if you go, this is the history server UI. Just copy paste this in your browser. Just open the browser, copy paste it. And you can see your name, username, right? So which one? This one. Create an RDD, collect it, again create an RDD with 10 partitions and then collect it, right? And then exit from the shell and then go to the history server. You should be able to see your username. Where is me? But see, in the UI, what you see 2 collect. This is my first collect. This is my second collect. And do you see the number of partitions? 2 by 2, 10 by 10. First I created default, that will be 2, then it is 10. So you can actually see in the UI, 10 partitions were here in this job, 2 partitions were here in this job. And look at the time, 0.4 second, 90 millisecond. Meaning if you increase the number of partitions, your job will run faster, ideally. So you can actually see these statistics from the UI, Spark UI, right? This should be visible when you're running normally. For some reason, I'm not able to access this UI while we are running. That is why you're exiting and coming here and checking it. So all the jobs you run, you can see here. And also, if you click on one of the job, I'm clicking on this job, okay? You can see the DAG visualization. Can you see? Now, this is very simple because it says you have done a parallelize. That is all you have done. You have not done any special. But if you do some transformations, it will all appear here in a graph. And here it says you did a collect. Okay, if you expand, you can see here Spark was running some methods inside this collect, and it says duration was this much for doing this. Event timeline, anyway, will just show you the executor driver added. Very important point. What it shows in the event timeline, it says executor driver added. If you are in the yarn mode, it will say executor added. In the local mode, driver and executor are running together, I told you, right? So it will always say executor driver added. This is like one thing, right? In the yarn mode, I can say I want 5 executor, 10 executor, separately it will launch. Here everything is one, local. Stages, we will talk about stages later. These things we already know. Executor will be only 1 because everything is running inside 1. Okay, so that is same. And jobs, we can see 2 jobs. And now we will launch Spark again, local mode only, that's fine. And we will do some analysis. So if you go back to your data sets I shared with you, there is a file called a book. Can you see? And if you open this, it's a book, actually, some book. God only knows what book. Okay, some business book. It has a lot of data, so we like it actually, right? So this is the sample data we will use initially. We will change it also. So I want you to upload this book to Hadoop. So go to your Hue. Hue is your file browser, right? Go to HDFS browser and upload it in your home folder only here. So I think I have it in my home folder. Here it is. Upload it in your home folder. You can upload anywhere, but for this we will keep it there. So what we are going to do, we will read the data from the book into an RDD, which obviously we have to do. And then we'll do some analysis, whatever possible, right? So first thing you need to do is that you have to read the data. Very simple. If you have the driver, you can connect and you can start working on that. It's all behind the scenes connections only, right? So how do you connect to a RDBMS? You will have a RDBMS client. Same way there is Spark drivers and Hive drivers, like Hive, for example. One way to write Hive queries, you launch a shell and then you start writing the query. But in production, I told you, right, one story when we discussed Hive. I have a friend who is working for 2 years and he didn't know that he was using Hive because he has only one screen. Behind the scene, it will be connected to Spark or Hive. So you don't need to use this.